Hi there, my name is Lawrence Olokide, and I'm teaching you today on how to build an engaging community on social media. Today, we're going to be talking about the strategies for creating loyal and interactive followers. All right. A social media group or a social media community is a group of people who interact around a shared interest or value represented by your brand. All right. Sometimes when you see communities online and you see communities on social media, we're tempted to think that it's random, right? Or it's just people just cluster together on a particular page, or in a particular group online. But the reverse is the case because many a times when you see communities online, it's a representation of people who have the same values, right? Or who share the same interests, right? So how do you or why should you create a social media community? Why should you build a social media community as a business person? Why is that something very important for you? And why should it be something you should be interested in? The first thing is that when you build a social media community, it increases your brand loyalty and customer satisfaction. All right. Every time people are part of a community, you feel a sense of loyalty towards the brand, right? And because of that, you can customers like to parade themselves as not just a user of the product, but someone that would refer other people to the product or to the service that you're rendering. So it's important to build a social media community because more people are going to find you because the people you currently have are not just only satisfied about what you're doing, they're also happy enough to tell their friends, their families, and other folks about what you have in store. The second reason why it's important for you to build a social media community is because it helps your organic word of mouth marketing. And in my opinion, I think that organic word of mouth marketing is one of the most effective way to sell your product because what you're doing is you're getting your business, your services out to several other people without having to spend millions in marketing, right? People who feel connected to your business can sell your business. Can sell your business offering for you without you having to spend a dime because it's just people who are part of your community who are now advocating for it, who are telling their friends about it, who are also posting on their own social media page and telling all their networks about what you do. And that's why it's important. That's why it's important for you to build a social media community. The third reason why it's important to build a social media community is because it helps you unlock valuable feedback and insight. All right, there are some comments and and feedback that you would get that would help you really just transform the way you do your business. It will help you tweak your product, it will help you tweak your offering, and then help you serve more people. But people would not necessarily give you that if they don't feel like they're part of the community, right? If they don't feel that there's a certain connection that you both share, all right? Many a times people will just keep stuff like that to themselves. That's why it's important for you to look into not just trying to sell to people, but also building a community around, the products or the service that you're rendering to people, especially on social media space. All right. So how do you do that, right? The first thing here is that you have to identify your target audience, and this is very crucial. If you're selling something online, the first place to start is to have a detailed understanding of who you're trying to sell to. Okay. It's the why, it's the reason behind what you do. It powers and it fuels all of your strategy, in creating communities online because now you have an in-depth understanding of the kind of and the type of audience that you're marketing to and you're trying to sell to. So the first thing is to identify your target audience. I wrote here that understanding your audience is key to creating content that resonates and drives engagement. So what this essentially means is that if you understand your audience well enough, it helps you to create content that would resonate with them. And resonate here means that you're creating content that is tailor fit for your audience, right? And it's also good enough to now drive engagement. And engagement is what we love, right? Engagement helps you, helps other people find your product, right? Because, with engagement, people comment, people share, and all of that, your business offering would then get to more people, and that is what you want. But the key here is that you have to understand your audience well enough to create content that resonate with them, right? Several people have different interests. We there are several things that inspires or get different people's attention. Matter of fact, depending on your audience type, there are separate platforms for different group of people, or like different class of people. There are people have preference in where they even like in the type of social media that they even use, right? And so those are the reasons why it's very important for you to understand your audience. So how do you get a good grasp of your audience? Which takes me to the next slide here. I wrote create audience persona. All right, I think it's very important for you to do that. Even before you start getting into social media and creating content, you have to, first develop a persona for your audience, right? And what it means is that you have to develop a detailed profile of your ideal customer, including their demographics, right? Their interest, right? Their challenges and their motivation. When you put all of that together, you create a detailed profile of your customer, of an ideal customer, right? What are their demographics like? What would be what are their interests, right? What are their challenges, and what are the things that motivate them? At the end of the day, when you put all of that together, if you're able to answer all of that, all of that question and put it together, it helps you have a very good understanding of who you're selling to. And there are tools and techniques to doing this, right? The first is you could use social media analytics to do this, right? Essentially means you're gathering data on demographics and behavior. There are social media tools, uh, you know, which you could use to do that. And there are also surveys and polls that you could do. You could ask people questions directly. You could ask your audience, what would be their preference. And at the end of the day, merging social media analytics, just going online and just researching, you're gathering data, trying to put behaviors together and also merging it with surveys and polls helps you at the end of the day to understand your audience perfectly. And oftentimes this would be an evolving, what do you call it now, it's going to be an evolving task that you have to do from time to time, right? You have to keep tweaking till you get to the point where you're confident enough to say that, I now know exactly how the people I'm trying to sell to, how they think, how they behave. And so, because of that, I can create valuable content that can help me build a community around them, right? That gets me to the next point, which is to create valuable content. Don't forget we're talking about how to build communities on social media because it's important to build communities. It's important to build a strong sense of following around what you do online. Another thing to do here is to create valuable content. It's important to create valuable content because not just only are we exposed to thousands of content online today as an average social media user, people also filter the kind of content that they give attention to. So it means if you want to stand out of the crowd, you want to stand out and make your business known to people, you have to create content that people can find resourceful enough to learn from first of all, or to maybe sometimes not to learn, right? Sometimes it's just to engage in and also to share with other people like them. So I wrote here the types of content that engage users, right? There are different kind of content that people engage with online. First one, educational content, right? Educational content are like the tutorials, the how-tos, and industry tips. They are crucial, you know, in they're crucial, valuable content, right, that you can create for your business. Instead of trying to sell to people or trying to directly market your product to people in an aggressive way, you could do tutorials, right, relating to your business and to your service. You could do how to's, right? You could give industry tips, right, that people would learn from. And over time, your business is then known for sharing valuable content and people can, relate with. People can also be excited to be part of what you're doing. Another thing you could do, type of content that engage user rather, are engaging content. You've seen them all. You have the funny videos, the funny stories, and all of that we see online. The videos and the content that you see, the funny ones that you see online. So, not just funny, sometimes there are some videos that are just inspiring and all of that. Those are those are the kind of content that engage user online. Educational content, entertaining content, and inspirational content. People find them very valuable. And if you're also creating content that would be valuable to your user, you need to think, around creating content. You need to think around creating content within those contexts, right? One thing about social media that people don't talk about often is how how much consistency is required in order to push you know eh, in order to be very successful with your online strategy, right? You have to be consistent. I wrote here that regular posting builds your trust and keeps your audience engaged. And what this essentially means is that if you're consistent with your posting, if you're consistent with your strategy online, let the people know that you're serious with your business, and over time they can trust you for whatever it is you say you're doing. So I'll give you an example. If I run a beauty brand, all right, say I'm into makeup and glam and all of that, right? And I start to create content online and I start to engage people, right? I start to understand that, hey, the people that I'm serving, they actually want to know the how to. So I started creating content like how to apply foundation the right way, how to know your skin tone, and all of this kind of stuff, right? And I do that for consistently for like a month, and then the second month I stop. The third month I stop. The fourth month I stop. Right now, someone stumbles on my page who wants to probably even engage my service. But the last time I posted something online was 4 months ago. The person is not sure. They don't know if I'm still active. They don't know if I'm still doing the business. They don't know if I have, if I pivoted to something else, right? And so because of that, they don't trust me enough to, give me their money. And that's what it is online, right? You've got to be consistent. When you have your content strategy figured out and you start to understand what your audience want and you start to create those kind of valuable content, you have to ensure that there's a strategy or there's a plan for you to keep showing up online, right? And I know sometimes it's a drag, right? Sometimes it's difficult to, keep coming to social media and posting things and all of that. And so for that, what I recommend is that once you have your calendar figured out for the week and for the month, in whatever case it is, you can use some social media tools to then help you, schedule posts so that even if you're not online sometimes because of work, you can get, the tools to to automate the posting for you. But it's very important for you to be consistent, right? Next point is to strategies to engagement, right? To encourage engagement, pardon. There are strategies to encourage engagement. The first one is to ask question, use polls, and run contests. Very important, right? You have to ask question, not just speak, speak, speak. Sometimes your let your community also talk to you, right? Run posts to understand, uh, you know, run polls sometimes to just get a good grasp of who they are. So use polls and run contests. It's very important because it helps you create content that drives engagement. People are talking, people are the starter and all of that happening around your page, which is what we like. All right. And also actively participate in conversations and respond to comments and messages to build relationship. I see the mistake many businesses and people make online is that sometimes we try and feel, like I'm not under the impression of responding to people. I just want to ask question and whatever response it is they give, I just leave it that way. You check it and see that the most engaging brands online are brands that actually, engage in conversations with their consumers, right? You respond to people, you are in the comment section replying to messages, depending on the tone you give your brand and your business, right? For some businesses that have built that they've built a very lively tone around your business, you respond in a funny way. You kind of like just engage in chat and conversations with people in a way that tells them that, see, we're in a community together and I'm here for you, right? And I've got you. And sometimes people would shoot you mails and shoot you messages to build relationship, to get to know you more, right? To get to engage in some whatever it is, right? And most important thing you're looking at and you want to achieve at the end of the day is to build strong relationship with, your audience in a way that turns that relationship into a community. Everybody feels dedicated to your cause, and that's what you want at the end of the day. All right. Last thing I wrote here is that you have to analyze and adapt. It's very important to analyze and adapt. Don't just do social media. At some point, take out time to analyze what you're doing. All right, and adapt it. What it means is that when you analyze what you're doing, you figure out what are the things you're doing right. What was the post that got the most views, for instance, or what was the post that got the most engagement, and you figure out what's the why. Like, what was the reason why that post went viral? It was because, oh my god, it was because I used a trending sound, or because I used a trending topic, or I spoke around the trending topic and all of that. So you want to see how to use that to then influence your strategy going forward. So that's why it's very important for you to analyze what you're doing. And sometimes there are things you will do that would not perform well, and you then learn the reason why it didn't perform well. You could use tools like Google Analytics to track engagement, and also to there are several social media platform today, sorry, comes with inbuilt analytics that helps you track your engagement, so you can see your followers rate and all of that. You could also regularly review analytics and adapt your strategy based on feedback. Sometimes people will tell you things that you would take into the brand, and then take into your strategy, sorry, so you could improve what you're doing and get better offering that to your customer. For instance, you do like an outdoor shoot, depending on the kind of business you're running. But as a makeup or a beauty business, for instance, you've always done shoot at a certain level. But there was a time that you tried to like tweak the content a little bit, and then you did something different. Now people are telling you that, you see that thing you just did now, it's so good. You should continue to do that and all of that. It gives you an idea that if I keep doing this kind of content, my audience, they love this, right? The community love this, and so I need to find ways to keep doing things like this, right? Because the community loves it. So it's very important to not just post online. You have to analyze and adapt. The last thing, there's a quote I love so much, and it's that people don't engage with brands; they engage with stories and communities that those brands create. When you go online and you see the most engaging platform, it's not just because it's a business or it's a brand. It's because those businesses have been able to build communities, and those are the things that everybody engage with online. So when you go online and when you're creating a social media strategy for your business, do not forget the power of community. Do not forget the power that can be unlocked when people feel very loyal to your business. And so that's why it is very important for you to put all of those things we've spoken about in this presentation together in order to build an effective and a winning strategy for your business. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class.